I'm so happy, happy-go-lucky me. I just go my way, living every day. I don't
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to another episode of the Hobbesy Horror Screamcast Bros, where I, the titular Hobbesy, and my good buddy RJ will, I almost said prance. I don't think that's what I meant. We'll have a little romp through the horror film du jour of the day. Today's film is an interesting one. I will.
The way to put it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. How you doing today, RJ?
Oh, we're doing good.
Good.
Doing good. Again, just that movie.
Yeah, when we've packed it all into today, pre-recording, whenever this one comes out. During the recording, it's currently the day after the 4th of July. Surprisingly quiet too. I haven't heard any leftover fireworks.
We're knocking on wood, doing all that stuff right now, like the way it was last night.
Yeah, it's long and late into the eve. Some decent sized boom going on outside. Especially living so close to the lake, I think about 9 o'clock you could really hear things popping off. But yeah. So fingers crossed, no excess noise. Haven't had any internet issues in the last 2 days. I haven't had any today, and I don't think I didn't have any yesterday. I know Wednesday was a little spotty. We had a little bit of a storm that was rolling through. But yeah, everything seems to go today. Nothing seems to be working against us. I know we discussed this already. We don't really have anything on the radar that we're looking forward to that we haven't already talked about for the moment. I mean, that's chill. Yeah, I guess we can try to go ahead and get chatty about this film, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. As the title will have already read, this is 2019. As it's listed, even though it technically premiered in 2018 question mark. Either way.
That was weird because every time we looked it up, one site would say 2018, one site would say 2019. They're like, we're looking at the same movie, right?
Right. I mean, I guess there is a reason for that. I guess. Talk about that a little later with the release and whatnot. But yeah, 20 whatever is the odds. And this wasn't a theatrical release film, so there's not a theatrical release trailer for it, but there is the production company's trailer that they have for it, so we do have that on hand. But otherwise, there's not a lot going on with this film. Let me go ahead and pull up my notes. Yes, so I have it written in the note as 2018, but when we watched it today, it was listed as 2019. So yeah, it is all over the place. I'm not going to call it any 20, but the odds. Recommended to us by way of my bruh, Delaware. Shout out to him. Thank you so much. Do you have any initial thoughts about the film other than just it's a film? Because we could
talking about
stand on that all day.
Watched it?
No, because
I was
neither of us.
I never even heard of this movie.
Yeah.
And then trying to do research on this movie for a good. I mean, if you're looking on the internet for anything for 2 hours and still finding nothing, you're not finding anything. Like there was just
so
little.
I mean,
little about this movie, and it's just. I honestly had no I've made the joke before. I don't even think the movie knows the movie came out. That's how little information we could find on this movie.
Some weird sort of immaculate conception of film, I guess. It wasn't made, it just always was. Yeah, no, there's nothing about this fucking movie online.
Yeah,
I think Delaware was able to tell me that it was filmed in Nashville, and that's all. All he said that's all he could find. Yeah, this is a big. I don't even know what to call it. It's nothing. There's nothing. We do have cast and crew and all that at the very least, but I mean, at this point, I'm surprised they exist.
I mean, like, I know we'll get into like the budget and all that stuff a little later, but you can tell, like, I guess just how the I'm not saying like it looked low. It did look like low budget, just the way the camera was, because it's not like as crisp as say like a Marvel movie or like big time movie.
I liked that because
know.
there was a lot of heavy film grain.
No, like no, believe me, I'm not saying that's a bad
Oh
thing
yeah,
at
no,
all.
not at all.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, like it's in a lot of low budget movies, like it works,
right.
and I feel like in this movie it worked.
Yeah,
It worked very, very well, especially with like the setting of the movie. You're just in this small, like what, 10 by 10, maybe 15 by 15 room with just a
yeah.
table, two chairs, and that's it. And the whole setting of the movie and the grain in like the camera kind of fit with the setting of the whole movie.
And definitely, it
It
was.
kind of gave it maybe like a little more grain to it, a little more grit to it, kind of
Yeah,
feel.
yeah. It definitely added just an extra bit of grit to it. Um, no, they made good use of shooting in a single room, aside from one scene later on in the film.
Yeah.
Everything else takes place in just a single room. It's, I mean, cool. Yeah, they were able to keep the budget low, and I guess if it was something that was going like straight to streaming services or whatever, you're not trying to spend millions on what could potentially be a throwaway, I guess. I don't know what the intentions were for the film in its initial process, but I mean, either way, they did a great job with what they had. They made a movie. I can say they made a movie. Yeah. Anything else on that?
No, not really.
I have as much as this movie gave me, honestly. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll just jump into the cast, crew. That good information. The only information we have, really. Anyway, the film was written and directed by Bob Giordano, produced by Alan McKenna, with music composed by Leonard Wolf, cinematography by Jeremy Gonzalez, and wrapping it all together in editing, Peter Wolfgang. Is it Kramer or Kremer or Kramer?
I think it's Kremer. I
Kremer?
would imagine.
Peter Wolfgang Kremer. Peter, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. The film stars Abby Butler, James J. Fuertes, Katie Gunn, Les Parker, Sean Raimi, and Ryden A. Ruiz Jr. I don't remember seeing that many people in this film.
So Abby Butler was the player,
Mhm.
James Fuertes was the game master. I think
Right.
Katie Gunn was the daughter, I believe.
That would make sense. I guess
And
Les
I don't
Parker.
know how there's three more names for only two more people I remember from the movie.
I guess
The two
maybe
like bodyguard thug people.
the voice on the other end of the phone.
I guess.
I didn't watch the credits, so maybe
I
he
didn't
got
either. I
credited
didn't pay
for
attention
just
to
a
the
vocal
credit.
role, or I don't know, but
And
one vocal line never appears in the film. Uh, weird set of circumstances here. Uh, I wanted to
Yeah.
look into more on the actors themselves, but it's difficult. I mean, I guess it's not difficult. It just requires typing because there aren't like links on a wiki for me to click around and just fall down rabbit
Yeah.
holes with. Um,
There's a fun fact. There's literally no Wikipedia on this
there's
movie.
not a Wikipedia. There is an IMDb. There are a couple very short summaries, and there is no synopsis anywhere.
Yeah.
There's nothing about this film. But yes, I that's some side homework I'm gonna have to go and do at some point eventually, because I feel like Abby Butler was a very familiar face. Like I feel like I've seen her in other films, or at least
Yeah, I believe she
television. I
was
can't
in.
figure out where.
I believe she was in other like. I don't want to say like lesser known, but like probably known films. But the other ones, I have no clue.
James Fuertes, he's got one of those. I don't know. He's got like a face that looks like you've seen it somewhere, but you can't tell. You can't think of where you've seen it. Kind of like
I
her,
don't
I
know.
guess, except I'm certain I've seen Abby Butler somewhere else.
When I saw his face, I thought of the guy from Parks and Rec. The the other politician that ends up marrying what's her name? Leslie Nope. That's who he put me in mind of, and that's who I was thinking the whole time I was watching this movie, knowing it wasn't him.
Oh wow, that's great. Uh, yeah, I'm. Like I said, I would have loved to have fallen down some rabbit holes and seen where everybody ended up, but not in the cards today, I guess. And maybe I'll do it as like a side thingy later and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it at this point. um, I believe you have the release information, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah. So the film originally premiered in 2018 New York City International Film Festival on March 6th. So I think that's where the 2018 release comes from, like on some of the websites that we looked at.
Right, right.
It never got a theatrical release. The film came out in U.S. streaming services June 4th of 2019, with the spread of releases on foreign streaming markets over the next like year and a half. So I think that's where the 2018, 2019, because it released at the film festival and then it came on streaming services
Mm-hmm.
a little over a year later. The film was made on an estimated $250,000 budget and backed by production companies Uproar and Movie City Films. And then my one and only fun fact, because I usually try to at least find 4 or 5 of these fun facts. The first day of filming was there's a lake scene like in the first half of the film, and so the very first day of filming this lake scene was in the middle of February, and then we found out it was filmed in Nashville. So you can imagine how cold this water is in Nashville, Tennessee. And
I,
of course, Abby Butler, being the professional she is, muscled through it, as the fun fact states.
yeah.
And that's it. That's all
Yeah,
I got.
I
Only fun fact.
I'm
Done.
glad you got something. I got nothing in all of that. I got that it was shot in Nashville from Delaware, and that's about it. I didn't get anything myself. So I mean, we merged those together and we get like, a nice full idea. Surprisingly, no snow in those shots for being shot in February.
I mean, it doesn't always snow in Tennessee, though.
I've only ever seen it snow in Tennessee, but I think that might be it's because the only time my brother sends me pictures of Tennessee. So, but yeah,
I mean, I was up there in like December one year, and it was cold as shit, but there was no snow.
fair enough. Fair.
Interesting little fun fact here. So, one website says 2018, one website says 2019. This trailer says 2020.
Wait, the trailer that we have?
Yeah. I don't know when the fuck this movie came out.
Wow. All right. I mean, that's cool. I don't know how much of what is getting left in here and what's getting cut, but I'm going to try to leave that fun fact in there. All right. Well, anyway, I guess
2 fun facts.
yeah, 2 fun facts. Wow, man, we're really pulling them out here. Oh shit! All right. Do you want to just go ahead and get to the trailer?
I mean, we've already mentioned it. Might as well.
Right. Might as well get to it. Let me get it pulled up here on my end. Bit bow. All right. No, never mind. That's the wrong one. Hang on. Get it up here on my end. There we go. All right. Whenever you are ready, say the word.
Word.
Go. Obviously, I'd never seen this movie. I've never seen this trailer. So,
Same.
a lot
it
of
has awards.
yeah, a lot of
I
awards.
know it was nominated for a lot of rewards, and I think won 3.
Is that absolutely necessary?
That's a fun fact.
The game. There are 19 other players in 19 other locations, just like this. There are 5 preliminary rounds, followed by a finalist round.
It's a really
If
simple
the
premise.
entry the preliminary rounds, you will leave with 0 prize money.
I mean, he had
won't
kind of a Saw vibe.
I thought there was
A little
going to be a
bit.
gun.
A little saw there was another film about people playing a game
It starts.
for extremes and da 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 da, but it was like out in the world and
Squid
shit.
Game?
No, it was a movie. I can't think of what it was called at this point.
There's that red sea.
Do you know what your mistake was? You forgot that there are 2 animals in this cage.
I have that quote written down in my notes.
I said I won't quit.
That was literally the whole film. Boom, there we go. Done. We could have
You're
watched that and
not
been like, fuck,
wrong.
we're done.
Yeah, it would cut out good hour 47 minutes.
Right? Holy shit. Wow, that was efficient. All right, first time ever seeing that. That was the movie. That was it. That was the whole thing. They got a scene from every round. They didn't shy away from.
Mostly. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think they showed every round. Yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have closed it already. I didn't close it, did I? I still have it here, right? No, I've already closed it out. Yeah. They ran through every round. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I got all the rounds written
Got
down
the
of
effect
what
of the
happened.
story. Yeah, the same. I noted them off. Altogether, there were 7 scenes in this whole movie. They really they pulled it out. How long was the film? An hour and
Hour 47 minutes.
yeah. So
Honestly, didn't feel like it was that long.
no, not at all. But I mean,
Because, like, they literally just, like, dropped you right in the movie. Like, it's like, once the movie starts, it's just like, we're just getting right to it.
yeah, fuck it. I mean, and we're
There
already
was no build up. There was nothing.
no,
like that.
no. Fuck it. We're already just like this. We're already in it. I mean, there's nowhere to go but into the film from here. Yeah, you get this quiet opening where it shows the production company logos in silence, and then boom, she's getting a hood torn off her head, and we're introduced to our main characters, the player and the game master, as they're listed in the credits. Did they ever give names in the movie? Did they ever give introductions? There was
No, 'cause
nothing. It was just
Because the whole weird question and answer part of the first like 10 minutes of the movie, that was one thing he said, no names. So they
right.
never gave names, because even the 2 other people that are working with the game master, I think they're just listed as like thug or
Yeah.
or like bodyguard or whatever it is.
Already it's interesting. A lot comes at you in those first 10 minutes. It's really weird. And the dialogue in this film, the writing in this film's kind of weird too. I think it's supposed to keep you kind of off balance.
Yeah,
Because
well, I
as a
mean,
viewer,
'cause-
I didn't understand what the fuck was transpiring between these two actors at any given point in time.
Because I think throughout the whole movie, he's keeping her like off balance because he's all, the whole weird after so the first round is basically he lights a candle and there's the premise is like there are 19 players in this game. I know you can't see me doing the quotes, but I'm
Or
doing
quotes.
the quotes. There are 19 players in this game, but in this room, it's just the player and the game master, and it's assumed that it's like that for all the other 19 players. And then the first round is basically he lights a candle, and she has to hold her hand over the candle for as long as possible, and the first three people to pull their hand away are eliminated, and then the others move on to the next round. So like after that round, just that the dialogue, like talking about like him proposing to her, and oh, so like she wins $1 million, they get married, and just talking about like this future, and it's just like, oh, he's a nice guy, he's a nice guy, he's a nice guy, and then it changes.
It's
And
a
then
weird constant mind game.
yeah, and I think it's that whole thing is to throw you off balance because you're almost kind of like in the mindset of the player, because she's getting like one side of him, then getting a completely different side of him, then he's like, oh, I'm just playing, and then goes back to being a complete dickhead.
Yeah, it's an insane amount of whiplash and gaslighting throughout this whole
Yes.
film.
Oh my God, yes.
I will say I like the way that the exposition is part of the exchange between the characters, rather than being presented to us in some other way that makes it feel forced upon. We're given only what we need, and it rolls directly into story, important business between these two characters. So we know about as much as anybody else just falling into the film, and we're being and we need to be fed that information, but it feels like it's just given in a much more natural way, and I like that, rather than like over a radio or television broadcast or just like villain monologuing or anything like that.
The only way the player in this movie knows if anybody's dropped out or not is he's on a little like Bluetooth headset. Oh, three players have dropped out. You're good now.
Right.
And that's the only way she knows. So like, because I think me and you were both kind of around the same time. Like, are there other
Right.
players, or is it just him and her, and that's it?
I don't think there is anyone else. I think it's just bullshit.
Yeah, because like the longer the movie goes on, and then you go through like the other rounds, you start to question it more and more and more, especially at the end of the film.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, the game master starts out so calm and so reassuring, and it's just really fucking eerie. And I think it's in this beginning conversation we get the where she asks, like, have we met before? And that becomes a repeated question. Like, there are underlying themes to this film that I feel I'm just dumb and not getting. I feel like there has to be for any of it to truly make sense to me in the end, but it's a weird vibe of just this. I've met you, I know you are, and you feel like she knows more than she's letting on, or at least I felt like she knew more about what was going on than she was letting on, especially with the way she talks about how she had asked questions about it and like had been practicing for it.
but like it ends up coming out that like she doesn't actually like know him personally, but she knows the personality type that he is.
Yeah, and that becomes
Big,
part of the mind game between them.
yeah, big time.
uh yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's actually deep or if it was, is it, trying to present deep, or and it just like buries it under like this almost torture porn-esque uh facade. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the I many instances over the course of taking notes where I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what is going on between these two people. Do these people know each other? Are there other players? What is going on? Um, but yes, I do give them points for the seamless rolling of exposition into story and keeping the viewer as confused as the player, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because like the first couple of rounds, like I said, he's being like the, oh, I'm on your side, I'm rooting you on. We're gonna have. And then they come up with this like whole after the game is done and she's won, they're gonna have like this. I I don't think they're being serious, but it almost sounds like they're being
I don't
serious.
know.
Because like even the second round is what do you call it? The pain
The pain
box.
box.
And you don't know what's inside. All you know is you need to put your foot in, and again, the first three people that either refuse to do it or pull their foot out are eliminated. Everybody else moves on, and this is like where she was basically, the whole beginning of the movie, she's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not gonna quit. You can't make me quit. Nothing's gonna make me quit." And then all of a sudden, box comes out. It moves slightly because something's inside of it, and she's like, "Oh shit, no, I'm out." And then that's when he
Yeah.
goes, "So are you afraid of rats?" And then basically tells her there's a rat in there.
Honestly, I'll take the rat over holding my hand over a lit candle and burning my flesh
You're
off.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, round two, pain box, the rat in the box bullshit.
And
Um,
then yeah,
but yeah, he asked her what she's gonna do with the money and everything, and she talks about her daughter, how she's gonna give her the money. And I think it's at this point she also asks him, like, how would you feel if like you couldn't be in their life, yada yada, and then ends up with, but it's for the best. You can't be in their life, and it's better you don't be, or something like that. I don't know. There's just a lot of this weird dialogue building into, like you said, this suddenly they're talking about marriage. Like it seems like he's hitting on her, and then
yeah,
it
it's like a
immediately
weird
starts like
flirting,
talking about
flirting back
proposing.
and forth.
Yeah. And I don't understand where her head is at in this. Like I don't 100% understand the character's motivations. Even going through it, I don't 100% understand the character's motivation other than money and daughter.
I mean, but he almost at one point makes her think that that she's putting herself through this not for her daughter, but because she thinks or like deep down she actually deserves to
Yeah,
be
she thinks she deserves it.
punished and tortured and all this other stuff. So like I said, this whole movie's just like one big mind game of like who's has the stronger will, I guess.
It really, yeah, it really does. I guess do you have any notes for this particular section?
Just the part after the weird rat foot box. That dude totally has a foot fetish.
He
You
does.
know, wrapping up her foot like when they're done with the round, she moves on to the next round. He's wrapping it up like at least they give first aid after these rounds. You know,
Yeah, people are taken care
we gotta
of.
be fair. But then is like weirdly like giving her foot a kiss and then being like, a dad to a little girl with a skid knee and,
Right.
a
It's
kiss for the boo boo,
so
I think is what he
fucking
said. And I was
weird.
just like, Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, my next note after that is just the weirdest fucking dialogue.
Right. I just said, bro, out here kissing feet and shit. Like, that's unprofessional. Like, you're supposed to be this handler. You out here kissing toes, motherfucker. Uh,
Yeah, and that kind of leads to the next round too, which this might have been the worst one.
oh god. I will say, not kink shaming anybody. That's a very tame fetish as far as I'm concerned. Seen some shit. Moving on. Pain box redux.
Oh yeah. So the other foot that you didn't use goes into this box, and there's a there's
It's like what, six
two,
screws?
three, four, five. Oh, yeah, I think there's about six of them. Six screws just kind of hanging out. You put your foot in. He has a power drill, and oh, screw number one goes down into the foot. Screw number two goes down into the foot. And it's just
I
like,
squirmed so
no.
hard. I squirmed so fucking hard.
Yep. I'm pretty sure this is where I was staring at the wall because I wasn't real sure how much they were going to show here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they do a good job of not going so crazy on the gore and all that. Still plenty of blood, but they leave enough to it, the imagination.
Yeah, they definitely so because it almost like some of these like rounds kind of almost like hostile vibes a little bit, but without the gore. They're
Mm-hmm.
more going for the psychological thriller than like the torture horror
Right, keeping
aspect.
you off
Yeah,
balance,
so
keeping you
yeah,
uneasy.
they want you to more see what's going on, let your imagination kind of run wild a little bit of like what's going on, and more give you like the psychological side of it, like a screw going through your foot.
Right.
And then not only, when you get through that, the screw's got to come out.
Yeah, that was also
Uh,
painful.
yeah, this is about the time where I forget the comment she makes, but she makes a comment after this yeah, after this round, and he all of a sudden turns into,
Oh,
oh,
where it
nice
all
guy, we're
goes
gonna get
down.
married and lovey-dovey and all that, to where he's just full on dickhead and starts gaslighting the shit out of her.
Yeah, it's
And then the mood just quickly changes to where he's like not on her side anymore. He's actually like almost like trying to do anything he can to get her to quit. And
right.
it's just like there is no subtle in it. It's just it's 1 minute he's on her side, the next minute he's like, you don't even deserve, like, your daughter would be better off being poor and without you than being rich and with you.
Right.
Kind of vibes.
It goes hard whiplash.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's kind of the point of the movie.
right.
Because I know, like, I think it was Jennifer's Body that we did, where it's like, yeah, it kind of takes itself seriously, but then does it all at the same time. But there's like smooth
Yeah.
transitions. This movie purposely does not do smooth transitions,
Y-
and it works very, very
Yeah,
well.
it is grabbing you by the hair and just shaking you violently.
Yeah,
Back and forth.
it's like you literally just went to sleep an hour ago, and somebody's literally grabbing you by the shoulders and just shaking you to until you wake up.
Right.
That's what you're getting in this
Oh
movie.
man, yeah. The change comes after that they end up laying on the floor for some fucking reason, and they're talking about their future together some more.
Yeah,
Uh
like I said, I forget the comment she makes. She makes some kind of comment.
oh, and what are you gonna do? Just live off of my money, or something of that
I don't
nature?
even think it was that. I think it was like they were no, because she was talking about like, oh, what you gotta do like after because he was asking her what she was gonna do like with the money. She said something about like like wasn't it like something along the lines of like taking it like just going into like the woods or something and like just sleeping or relaxing or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, I'm going to go to
And
bed.
then he asked her, well, after that, what are you gonna do? And she was talking about gardening, and he's like, well, what do you know
Oh
about gardening? I'm like,
yeah.
how do you know her?
Right? How do you know what
How
she
do you
knows
know
about
what she
gardening?
knows?
Gardening.
And then yeah, she makes some kind of comment of like, "Oh, what can you do?" or something. I think it was something like that. And then he just that's when the switch flips. He's like, "Oh, I can do a lot," or something like that.
What are you gonna do, Mister? You gonna live off my money? And that's when
Yeah,
he
it
sits
was
up and
something
he's
along those
like, "I can do a
lines.
lot." Yeah. No, I just sat and watched it. There's lots of stuff I can do. He gets all moody and emo.
Yeah,
Fucking hate him. Anyway, um, yeah, but it's just a switch that flips, and like up to this point, he's been like kind of surreptitiously helping her. Like he gives her a pain pill or whatever after the is
I
that
think it was
after the
after.
burning, after the candle,
No, I think it
or
was
was
after the rat.
oh after the rat? All right.
I believe so. Yeah.
Either way, but yeah, he's kind of been like he goes from being super sweet and being like trying to like secretly help her and this that and the other, and the switch flips and he just goes asshole mode, and then like you said, it just goes back and forth from there. Like
Hmm.
1 second he's being a good guy, the next he's like, "You're gonna fucking die
Because
here."
after that whole dialogue of like his switch, the switch being flipped, and he's just being a complete like dickhead. Oh, hey, honey, we had our first fight.
Right?
I'm just like, what?
Excuse me. It's also at this point where we get kind of the lie about, or well, we get kind of the explanation about the people that are watching and placing these bets and who they are. She's like, they must be
You
real
know,
sickos
they're
to be
like
sitting around taking bets on this all day. And he's like, what? No,
they're
they're
basically like
scientists.
behavior psychologists or something like that that just want to see how much like I guess the human spirit, how far someone's willing to go.
Right. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's so
I think
weird.
yeah, because this is when we get to round four.
Yeah. I don't know if you had any more notes in there. I just had,
No, that was pretty much what I had.
just mentioning they're like racing their way through a couple's spat at this point. They went from like getting married to fighting to man, talking about her sucking dick until her teeth rot out. What she'd be doing if she weren't sitting in the chair right now and shit.
Oh yeah, and how she should be thanking like
You
the
should
people
be
that put the game
thanking
together
these
and be
people.
thanking the game master for doing what he's doing for her and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it
As if
gets
it wasn't for the game, you
real
would be
fucked
smoking
up.
crack with no teeth.
Yeah. It gets real fucked up real fast. And it was already fucked up. I mean, we're now 4 in. Um, oh, and the question of how she was walking fine.
Yeah,
Because
after
she manages
I could
to.
understand walking fine after the rat bit her a few times, but like when
Yeah.
the 3, 4 screws goes in your foot, you ain't walking like that.
No, yeah, she's not limping at all. She's not showing any issues putting weight on it. Mm-mm. Not convincible. Uh, round 4, which I have titled the drowning game. Um,
Oh, I just put head in fish tank.
head and fish tank. Quick and simple. Uh, this one made me start to question, because like I'd been questioning the whole time her own sanity,
Yeah.
because she's been playing into a lot of this and just going and fucking like the marriage thing and yada yada. With this spoiler, by the end of it, we find that she swallowed the bullet that she was given to drop in
Oh,
case
yeah,
she needed to be pulled out of the tank.
yeah, because this is another one where like the first 3 people that pull out are eliminated,
Mm-hmm.
and so basically the game master is holding her head in this tank, and the only way they know to pull them out is they have a bullet in their hand, and if they drop the bullet, that means pull them out. And this is where we get like I guess it's a flashback of her and her daughter. This is the lake scene that they shot in February in Nashville, which Again, you could have waited to the warmer months. That's just my
Right.
opinion. Uh,
Just saying.
but yeah, you get like the little flashback of her and her daughter like near this lake, just kind of like I don't know, like laying around, like, almost like a picnic kind of a thing.
Right. Mommy daughter park day or whatever. Yeah, and it's so we get the flashback, we get the mommy daughter scene. And I don't know if it's a flashback or she's trying to just go to like a happy place or something,
Yeah,
because it
because
gets
it literally
interrupted.
could have been either way.
Right. She gets interrupted in the sequence
I think
by
that's like when she was really starting to feel like she was dying.
right. It's him saying like "I love you" or some shit like that. I've already forgotten, and we watched the movie just before recording. I ate dinner. That is all that happened in between. Um, but and then she turns around and her daughter's gone. She throws herself in the lake, and she's you know it's only like maybe hip deep, but I still imagine it was real fucking cold. Um, but searching around for her daughter, kid can't find her, and she ends up dropping into the water herself and sinking below the surface.
And
Uh,
then, yeah, it kind of fades black, and then that's when he's pulling her out because three
she
other
goes
people,
limp.
again, end quotes, because I know you guys can't see me doing the quotes. Three other people dropped out because, again, we don't know if there's actually other players or not.
Right. There was a moment in this sequence that confused me a bit initially, and it was when she was starting to drown or whatever, and you started to get the flashback where she was putting her hand up, and then turned her hand over and opened it, and she was holding the bullet in the dream sequence type deal, but there was no bullet in the real world in the room. And that kind of threw me off initially. And that's, of course, when he pulls her out, we go on to find out that she swallowed the bullet, and that's why she wasn't holding it in her hand. Um, yeah, just interesting turns and sequences. The movie doesn't ever stop being tense. I will say
No.
that. Like, it
Yeah,
started
because
out
it's
with a
like,
really weird tension, and it never let up on it.
yeah, because it's like right after this, like if it's because they have like dialogue in between each rounds, and like
Mm,
this is when he was like really starting to really put on the gaslighting on,
yeah.
with kind of going back and forth between him being like on her side and then, just downright being rude and insulting to her the whole time.
Right. It was immediately after this when they're sitting back down at the table, and he gives her that weird backhanded like compliment.
Oh, yeah, like something. Oh, I bet you could be really pretty or something
I
like
bet you
that.
were a
And
real looker.
yeah, and then this is when he just starts smacking the shit out of her for like mouthing back.
Yeah, she starts going off. Uh I have a note where it's just the sound effects guy. Whoever took care of sound effects in this movie deserves a raise, cuz that first slap, I felt that. I heard that crack and I felt it in my soul. I guess we'll go ahead and get to the next scene, which I have listed as round 5. Nope, 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 nope. Do you recall round 5?
Yeah, it's just, basically one of the thugs come in with a cutting board and a bag, like a little, almost kind of like a Crown Royal bag.
Kind of,
My
yeah.
drinkers out there know what I'm talking about. And just sets it on the table. And, this is where Jar comes out and he basically tells her, "Oh, this is where you really put your skin into the game, so you know what's
Yeah.
coming." And I think she makes like some kind of comment of like, "Oh, you don't have like the balls to cut the like cutter or anything like that." And he's like, "I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
You're doing this." And it's essentially you're cutting each round of this round, you're cutting a knuckle off a finger, And he's like, "Oh yeah, I really suggest you start with the pinky."
I I guess. Yeah.
And then, throughout the whole thing, you're trying to. I don't know about you, but I was like, "So how many fingers is she losing here?"
Right. Ends up being
3.
3 fingers.
Yeah, the pinky, the ring, and the middle finger, because she literally can only. I made the comment she can literally only do finger guns with her left hand now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was the other thing. He asked her, "Are you left-handed or right-handed?" And
Oh.
so she raises her right hand. Oh, good, because this will come in handy.
Oh man. Yeah,
Which
mhm.
I brought up the question while watching. Okay, if she ran out fingers on her left hand,
How do right
what would happen then?
Just have to chew them off. Get in there, get real. I made mention of this at this point, even though I guess I could have said it at any point throughout this film. They do a really good job, or she does a really good job of presenting like panic and fear and pain. And dude, she looks like she's hurting a lot through this. She had a little faux pas with the being able to walk properly after getting drilled through the foot, but everything else, she plays up the intensity very well.
Well, then this is the part where, like, she's basically down to just 2 fingers left, and she just kind of gets up and is like, "I'm done." And I think we both kind of made the comment at this point, like, you already cut 3 fingers off. Like,
Right, you burned your hand.
is this
You've
really the time to quit? But
you,
then, like, right after she knocks on the door, that's when he's like, "Oh, the third person dropped out." And that's when, I don't know about you, but I really, really started to question, are there other
yeah.
players in this game?
It's like, oh,
Because that
that's
was just
convenient.
way too convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at that point it kind of sealed it in my mind, where it's like, there's nobody else. There are no other players. There's no fucking way. Yeah, it's it's a rough scene. And he is kind of really sick. And he makes the comments, keeping the fingers in the jar.
Yeah.
Which he does. They end up in his bag. So I think he actually intends to keep them. It's a rough one to sit through, because she cuts through that first one, and like, it doesn't show it, of course, but it immediately cuts to her sitting there, and she's bandaged up and 3 fingers in, lining up to cut off the index finger. It's a rough scene. And then when we get the announcement of the third person dropping, she's like, "I'm just going to the bathroom," or "I gotta go to the bathroom." And it's nice of them to provide bathroom services to their
I mean, they provide first
question.
they provide first aid, so at least, can I get a bathroom break? I think we're both asking for an orange juice at this point.
Yeah, an orange juice and a cookie.
Just keep the blood moving.
I lost a lot of blood. I could just use a cookie. Just a cookie. It's gross. It's bad. But she makes it to the last round, final round, which is just plain Jane Russian roulette.
Which at this point there's supposedly 5 players left, and this round just keeps going until there's only one person left. And this is where the gaslighting and really comes on thick. Just him, the meme of it's the Hangover, where I forget his name, but he's playing blackjack and he's like counting cards even though everyone thinks he's dumb, and like all the numbers going off in front of him. I feel like that meme would have been perfect for the end of this movie when they're all talking about the odds of like the bullet and all the people, and I'm just like, I am literally pointing,
I don't know how
like
any of this works.
that's I was feeling that meme pretty hard during that part with the Russian roulette.
I don't like your statistics. They offend me.
The math was mathing hard at this point in the movie.
I guess. This goes on, I want to say, way too long, because like this last round is like the last half of the movie essentially.
Yeah, but this is like, again, it really makes you question if there's other people in it, because like she's going through it. I think it was like the first 3 rounds she made it through, and then it got to a point where he wasn't even telling her if somebody was eliminated or not, and she kept asking, so how many are
Right.
left now? And he's like, what do you mean? How many
Yeah.
people are left now? Oh yeah, everyone made it through that round.
Yeah, I think he
And
went
that's
through
kind of
like,
how he kept answering that question, or and then he even made the comment like, well, you have to trust me here because you don't even know if anybody has died at all. And
right.
going through that to where it gets to a point, I don't know if you have anything else before, but like it gets to a point where she starts kind of making her own calculations.
Right. Well, as you said, what was it? And as you said, somebody has to die, or somebody has to, or there can
Like,
only be one person
'cause
left, or
there's a comment I think he made where he was talking about like the betters, and like he was telling her like, oh, the betters are either betting against you or betting for you,
there we go.
but
Right.
they're all looking for blood, but he had never said her
You didn't
blood.
say whose blood.
And I think that's when she started to like calculate like, I might be able to fight my way out of this.
Right. Oh, okay.
And that's, as the famous Michael Scott, that's when the turntables.
Right. You said it yourself. Betters will place odds on anything, or take odds on anything.
Oh yeah, and that's when she comes up with the 50-50 thing, which he wasn't understanding, but she was basically talking about him and her
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah, she goes through like 4 or 5 clicks of that thing where he says
Oh my
nothing.
God, she's
And it's
such a
just-
bad shot though too.
She is a bad shot, because when she finally
I
turns
am
on him,
I am convinced that if she put the gun up to her head and there's a bullet in that chamber, she still would have missed
right.
the way she was missing everybody else
She
in the fucking movie. Like,
absolutely
she
would
was
have
a
lived.
terrible shot. She made stormtroopers look good. Let's put it that way.
It was impressive. But she takes because as they're going through this, he keeps saying, we have to change the game again. They want to add another
yeah.
bullet. And he drops all 3 of them in a row. She gets all 3 of them off. And I guess she does indeed hit him with one, because
It
when he
didn't
comes
look
back
like
to
it.
strangle her, he's got a bullet wound. But yeah, she gets them off, and then the other guys who come bursting in the room, she hits the one guy in the doorway. And she wastes
Yeah, after
2
shooting,
bullets.
like 4 rounds.
No, she only shot 2. Because she wasted the 3 in the revolver. She picked up the game master's gun as he fled. She used 2 on the guy in the door, and then
There
feigned
was the other
death
guy.
behind the table.
It wasted like 4 more shots.
Yeah, she fired like 3 or 4 more shots into him. And then that was it, because then Game Master comes
Yeah, that's
running
when
back
the game
into the
master
room.
like tackled her and was like strangling her. And then that's when the good old jar of fingers
The jar
comes
of
into play.
fingers, yeah, it makes a comeback.
And smashes them, and it smashes the jar into his head, and then he of course gets a shard in his throat, and then he starts asking her for help.
Help!
don't
I
think so,
have a
buddy.
son. Well, maybe he'll be he'll be better off without you in his life, or something of that nature.
Essentially the same thing he's been telling her the whole time about her
Right.
daughter.
Really turns it around on him as he bleeds to death. Which, I mean,
Yeah.
good. He has it coming. I don't think anybody is innocent in this movie. This is another one where everyone's a psychopath. And I think she came into this crazy.
Oh yeah.
She
There's
didn't,
no way you're doing that shit without being crazy.
right? She came into this crazy, so.
But then to like end, finally like go to the credit scene, she goes and picks up his earpiece, and there actually is somebody on the other end who just tells her, "You win."
You win. Or you've won.
But it never answers the question, were there other players?
Yeah.
Because it almost like, I know you're kind of putting your own feelings into this. I know how I was kind of reading the movie and all that stuff. It felt like she was the only one playing the game
I
to me.
definitely got that
Because
feeling.
I was gonna say that was a question I was gonna bring up to you, because to me, I think she was the only one playing. There wasn't 18 other people at all, and he was just, just basically just feeding her a load of shit the whole time to keep her playing.
Right. I don't even know, man. I still have so many questions by the end of the fucking movie.
I mean, if some movies can do this and it's awful. It's just awful. Kind of like leave you on that little cliffhanger.
Right.
But when movies do it good, like do it right and do it well, it is really good because it keeps you talking about it. And as weird as this movie was, it does kind of keep you talking about it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I don't know if this is one I'm going to carry beyond this viewing.
Probably not.
Right. It was an interesting ride.
I would love, like, other people, like, if they go out, anybody who listens to this, if they go out and watch it on their own, I would love to hear what other people's opinion is. Like, do they think other players were in the game? All that kind of
For
what they thought.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Please.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay. But yeah, no, I agree. If you have thoughts or opinions on this, please feel free to email us, hobbsyhorror@gmail.com.
You know where to reach us by now if you've been listening.
Right. We'd like to hear opinions, because like I said, I still am 100% clueless. I don't believe there are other players. I don't know if this has happened more than once at this point, or if this guy was actually put in there just to play this part as a contestant himself, someone else playing the game from just a different angle, if he knew that there was a potential for it to turn into that kind of end game scenario, or if he was actually surprised by the turnaround, because he played nervous when she pulled the gun on him, but
Because that's
he
when
still
he was
kept
trying
that,
to convince her there were like blanks in the gun.
right. He still kind of kept that air of like, you don't know if anything I'm saying, you don't know if anything I'm saying is true. I could be lying about every single thing. So what are you going to believe? It was a movie, just like that trailer was a trailer. This was a movie. And no, I don't think it's one I'm going to carry beyond this viewing and this recording. It is one that I am leaving behind me still having a lot of questions concerning all the players in the game and the pawns, and who's running the operation. What happens to her after the fact? Does she get the money? Is she killed? Does she become the new game master? Like, what all is going on? What happens here? But just as with the production information, the movie leaves you empty in the end. Unfulfilled.
So how you turn full circle here.
Yeah, right? It all comes together in a neat little bow of nothing. But it was a good ride. I will say that. I had fun watching it, even though I was very confused a majority of the time watching it. Any other closing notes or anything else you have to say about this film?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all.
Kick ass. All right. Well, weirdly, you made the comment after we wrapped it up that this, or maybe even while we were watching it, that this wasn't really a horror movie.
No, it was more like a psychological thriller with horror aspects.
Definitely. Like, it wasn't, it was a Saw, but it wasn't a Saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Saw has the
like
horror aspect.
a Saw and Hostel put together without the gory parts.
Right.
Because it did not show, it could have showed a lot, and it did not. It was more leaving it to your imagination more than anything else.
Again, probably
But
that
they
small
were-
budget. Like,
Yeah, they were probably more playing on the psychological part rather than the horror part.
definitely, I can see it. My cat is meowing very loudly in the hallway, and I bet she has a stuffed animal in her mouth. Sorry about that, gang. Yeah, it definitely played more into the psychological thriller aspect of it than a horror movie. We don't, the on-screen deaths we get are,
You get 3.
yeah, it's the game master and the 2 helpers, guards, Thug, and whatever the other guy's name is. So I don't know if we don't even really have a segment in the end, do we? I guess we have.
I mean,
like,
you could still have like your favorite kill scene. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same one for both of us, but you know, it's still there.
Buddy just bleeding out on the floor with the glass in
Yeah,
his
that's
throat.
definitely the best death of the whole movie was the shard of glass going through the game master's throat because like yeah, you fucking deserve that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Now the one segment I can say we can't exactly do is the least deserving because they all fucking deserve
They
it.
all had it coming. Fuck me. Yeah. It's all evil men. It's all bad guys. Like, yeah, everybody had it coming.
Did you have like a favorite scene at all besides like the favorite
Oh,
death scene?
I think that's really hard too because the whole movie just takes place in this one space.
Yeah.
And somehow this is even harder
because
than fucking Devil. Because at least there was a lot of action happening in that.
Yeah.
This is also a movie that doesn't have a lot of action per se.
Yeah, it's more dialogue than anything else, but they do kind of break it up like chapters in a book with like the first round, excuse me, first round, second round, third round, you know, all the way through. They have, you know, kind of like almost like a Tarantino kind of movie where, you know, they black screen first round, second round. So they do kind of break it up like chapters in a book, which I thought was kind of neat.
Right. Man, yeah, I don't know. This movie kind of fucking ruined everything. Damn you, odds. Damn you. I think just that quick sequence of her pulling the trigger is really good. Cause it's in the middle of a tense moment. We're reaching the climax. And just that quick succession of just like click, 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 click. Is really good. No, actually, I'm going to say the bullet in her hand during the dream sequence. I thought that was really interesting. And like I said, it kind of threw me off because then it's revealed she swallowed the bullet. So I'm going to say that, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard in this one, man. maybe you can do better here. Maybe you can, bring it back for us.
I'm just going to call it, because I hope I'm getting this dude's name right, the Zach Galifianakis scene. That's what I'm calling the scene of just them going back and forth with the whole Russian roulette, like trying to outmath each other with the odds of everything, and you know, it's basically just one's trying to outsmart the other, like, oh, well, we got 3 bullets in here now, and what are the odds of this? What? And then she's like, oh, well, it's a 50-50 thing. Like, just them going back and forth, trying to like out psychologically mastermind the other almost. That's what it kind of felt like to me. I
I see
like
what-
that was
yeah.
it was very interesting.
I like it. I like it.
But
You
it
brought
was
us back.
definitely, like I said, it was definitely the Hangover meme of like all the mathing.
I am gonna dock some points from you for that butchering of Zach Galifianakis's name.
I was close. Like, get the fuck off me, all right?
I mean, I fucked up the director's name, so it's okay.
There we go.
I
Or
fuck up.
even.
I fuck up so many names every episode; it doesn't even
I
matter.
am so bad with names,
I'm
man.
horrible with names. Yeah. All right. So this giant nothing burger of a ride that we've been on that was enjoyable nonetheless, even if not terribly filling. I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, sure, go give it a watch. Definitely give it a watch. I mean, it's free on Tubi. Sit your butt down. It's not that much of an investment. And then go ahead and email us, hobbsyhorror@gmail.com, and let us know what you thought of the film. Give us your theories. And if you find any more information on the film, by God, send it to us, because I'd like to believe this is a real movie and not just a weird fever dream I'm having and recording about. With that, I guess that we go ahead and what we're not going to forget this week. We're not going to
Picking a
forget the
for
movie
next week,
We're not going to forget the movie for next week.
and it would be your picks. Or...
Yeah, I already know what I'm picking. I don't know if you know what I'm picking because
I have no clue.
Because I did already tell you in the past what the last one for me is going to be and what will, I believe, end up being our season finale. So, I mean, it only leaves one other.
No, actually, yours would be the season finale.
Is it going to be? That's for later mathing. All right. Well, anyway, we're going to watch Child's Play.
Oh, I kind of thought you'd go with the other one. We'll keep that a mystery for the kids.
No, the other one is the one that I wanted to do as the last one. But if one of mine is going to be the
Gotcha.
last one, then it's going to be the one before the last one.
Yes, it should be. If my math is mathing.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a lot of math in this episode.
There's a lot of math in every episode. We're eternally battling numbers here at the network.
Yeah, your one of your movies would be the last one.
Okay, that makes sense. So it will be the penultimate episode of the season then. But yes, this next one's gonna be Child's Play.
Good old Chuck.
And not just because I think those are the last two on the list, right?
You talk about mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought those were the last two.
By the way, should probably put the preface in the original.
The
Child's
original
Play.
Child's
I don't know
Play.
the year, but it was 1980 something.
19
Maybe 1990. I don't remember.
No, it was 88 maybe.
We'll find out next week.
Yeah, we will indeed find out. I'm definitely not looking it up right now. I am so good. Holy shit. 1988
Was
for
it
the win,
88?
baby. Yeah, boy.
Nice.
But yes, can't wait to get to that. We stand Chucky in this house. Maybe we'll have anecdotes from our childhood about that. Who knows? But anything else on the docket for you?
No.
Sweet beans. RJ, where can the people find you?
RJWare89 on the X/Twitter thing.
That thing. You can find me. I actually, it's funny because I'm saying this now. In the past, I changed my Twitter handle to now match the brand across the board. You can find me across the board at that Hobbesy on Twitter, X, IG Reels. Not Reels, the other thing. Threads. There we go. Whew. And Blue Sky, even though I don't really use the others all that much. You can also find the show at Hobbesy Horror on Twitter, X, Blue Sky, IG, yada yadas, and all that good stuff. Email us once more with your comments, questions, concerns, conspiracies, and other words that begin with C at hobbsyhorror@gmail.com. And please, for the love of God, wherever you are listening, whether it be on Spotify or YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, and if you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. I'm no longer threatening to do nasty, weird things in your bed. I'm going to do them in the driver's seat of your car. And if you don't have a car, the passenger seat of whoever's car you ride in. We'll see what the lawyers say. Until next time, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, and we will see you down the line. Bye.